Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed, baby. Now we got some, well, I would say welterweight news, but it might be a little bit junior middleweight news. You got Errol the Truth Spence, right? Three belt champion in the welterweight division, unified champion, you like to call it, versus Keith one time Thurman, two belt champion back in the day. They're going to meet not at the welterweight weight, which is 147 pounds. They're going to meet at 154 pounds. And that's not a good thing, really, because the bout will basically just mean it's a good fight. Now, the bout is sanctioned from the WBC, but there's no belts on the line because it's not at the 147-pound limit, which means it doesn't have to really be sanctioned. This is just a fight where, hey, it's a good fight between two guys, two good fighters. That's all. It's got to be at 154 because of the simple fact that Errol Spence is fat as a house right now. And so matter of fact, Errol Spence is going to have problems making 154. Watch what I tell you. But let's make sure this is clear when you say things like that. Errol Spence blows up between fights, but he always makes weight. So whatever he's doing, he's doing. He's been doing it for years. So you know, hey, some people blow up before fights and use their training camp as a fat farm, and some stay fit the whole time. Um, I tell you, like the Klitschko's, like Floyd Mayweather, and hate to say it for you guys, but Terrence Crawford. You won't see these guys blowing up between fights, but some do. And when it comes to Errol Spence, he's handled his business up until now. So hey, people like me, back the hell off, right? He's gonna probably make weight, but it's gonna be hard for him. But anyway, 154 pounds, and Keith Thurman too. He probably wants to, go and fight at 154 pounds if it's not going to be for the belts. It just kind of it's a good fight. It's a fight that we kind of know. People that are in the know understands that Errol Spence didn't really want to fight Keith Thurman because when Keith Thurman was on the throne, he didn't give Errol Spence a shot like right away. Now, the point of this video is this. Forget the Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford fight. It was for undisputed, and I've told you guys before, it's very rare that you can get undisputed in the sport of boxing because it's not in the interest of everyone. It's not in the interest of the boxers. It's not in the interest of the promoters, sanctioning bodies, or whatever, right? They all don't want undisputed. Hence, we don't never get it, right? Canelo Alvarez against Demetrius Andrade, undisputed at 160. No one even mentioned it. It was crickets. We were one fight from it. Canelo was about to get his biggest payday, and Demetrius Andrade was screaming and hollering. No one even mentioned it. Because we don't, do you want one middleweight champion? And that was middleweight, right? Also a glamour division. No one said anything, right? Gets weird. When Devin Haney was trying to become undisputed, right? People started calling Teofimo Lopez undisputed, even though he wasn't. People started calling Cabosas undisputed, even though he wasn't. It was a new franchise belt. And when it was coming to Devin Haney, they just didn't want him to fight for undisputed. They did everything. His offer was so bad, it was ridiculous. To go to Australia and get paid 1/10 as much as Cambosis, right? But he did it anyway. It's always some issues with undisputed. Right now, with Lomachenko and Devin Haney. I did a video yesterday. They trying to have the fight in May, knowing damn well that Devin Haney wants it in March before Ramadan, and he should be able to get it. But they trying to just do something. Hopefully he doesn't become undisputed. Undisputed is not what the people want, so that's why we ain't getting Terrence Crawford and your boy Errol Spence, because it's one damn champion and there's clarity, and then there's all the talk stops. But you would think, right? You would think. But that's something that in the lightweight division, I don't like the fact that we still talking about big fights and Devin Haney's not in it. But I'm getting off topic. Bottom line is this. Keith Thurman is going to be a massive underdog versus Errol Spence. And I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Because Keith Thurman is much maligned, right? You're watching the boxing, circles, how people are treating Keith Thurman. Like you would think Keith Thurman was never a champion before, right? That's what you would think. And it's funny because Keith Thurman had to fight Danny Garcia, which Danny Garcia got other DNA hitting on that head. Danny Garcia don't never get hurt. Keith Thurman was able to beat him and Sean Porter a long time ago when it was not, you wasn't beating those guys. So, and then from those fights, he carried injuries. So he had to take some time off to get himself healed. Went in the mountains of Tibet and did some Buddha stuff and some yoga and whatever he was doing, and people were kind of maligning him for it. Like, what are you doing? But here's the thing: no matter how much smack you talk in the hood, you gonna run up on a Buddha, you gonna run up on a Shaolin monk, you talk all that smack in the hood, you gonna run up on them? No, you're not. So therefore, it didn't matter what Keith Thurman was doing, but he was trying to heal. And we keep, forgetting that, right? And the fight against Manny Pacquiao, he lost that fight on a split decision. Could have gave him that as well, actually. But, so Keith Thurman is not as bad as we're doing, so I kind of love him in this underdog role. You guys got to be careful because Keith one-time Thurman, just because he has that moniker one time, this guy can box. We like I've told you before, like I don't think the Keith Thurman's body holds up that well because we've seen him get hurt to the body a couple of times, and you probably don't want to be getting hurt to the body. You don't want to be someone who's susceptible to the body going up against Errol Spence because he goes to the body real well, like almost as good as Canelo and stuff like that. But Keith Thurman has the tools. He has the tools. And if I were you, before just listen to somebody else, you better check out Keith Thurman highlights and some of his fights to make sure you realize who this is, right? Because, if you're just getting into boxing yourself and you've been doing it for a year or two and you just really look at other people's videos and follow the narrative and stuff like that, what somebody else is talking about, then you're going to have Keith Thurman as a massive underdog here. He's an underdog because of the body. When it comes to boxing, no, he shouldn't be an underdog. But because of his last fights, he beat Mario Barrios and stuff like that. But he ain't looked spectacular lately. But he knows damn well that you better be on your P's and Q's against an Errol Spence, especially at 154 pounds, because Errol Spence ain't going to have to make that much weight to get all the way down. So it's going to be hard. But I'm going to tell you, Keith Thurman, a massive underdog against Errol Spence, probably shouldn't be that way, right? You might want to put some money on this one. Let's see what the odds are. If them odds are 7, 8 to 1, you better grab them because Keith Thurman might not be one time, but he's damn sure sometime. And I'm going to tell you something else. The man can box. And here's another thing that's good about Keith Thurman. To lead up to the fight and his interviews and stuff like that, they're all top. So let's just go and enjoy this since we can't get the fight we want. It's still a good fight. It's not super significant because of 154, but it's two great athletes going up against each other. And there's a little, animosity there because of the past. So we'll enjoy that. But Keith Thurman being a massive underdog probably isn't right. Being an underdog, I can go for that. But massive, hell to the no. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.